To the House.
The Honourable Shane Jones.
Tēnā tātou katoa. Sir, it falls to me to take each of the 10 minutes to its fullness. So I just want to test, is there an actual minister in there? Oh, there's Mr Foss, perilously close to the departure door, but there is a minister in the House. So we'll support this bill. We'll support this bill, sir. And the particular part that we look forward to be supporting is mineral mining. So we will be supporting that portion which provides for a new regime in respect of the taxation of mineral mining. An important sector in the economy, sir, providing there is a robust environmental framework. In the event, sir, that that remains the case, investors should not worry one iota about being able to bring their capital to our country, but they must know, sir, as this bill contributes towards, there has to be a social licence for such sectors to thrive and prosper in New Zealand. And, sir, they may very well find a place in the north, i.e. I refer here to Taitokero. Now, in the event that they do, sir, this bill will provide for a more I wouldn't say favourable, sir, but a more lucid set of processes in terms of how they treat their investments over a period of time and whether or not they continue to gain access, sir, to an opportunity to spread the costs in such a way and also take account of any obligations in the event that they have to tidy up, sir. But I want to come back to probably the major reason for the time that I sat on the Select Committee that interested us in this bill. It actually makes some changes to foreign superannuation changes, but more importantly, sir, it reminds us that it's this side of the House, as we support this bill, that is the Superannuation Party. It's this side of the House, sir, that is prepared to grasp the nettle and, sir, ensure there is a viable long-term scheme in terms of a state-based pension scheme. Now, sir, in doing that, from time to time, it will be necessary, because both parties should support, sir, taxation legislation like this. Naturally, sir, the regime is coming to an end and we'll be sitting over there at this time next year, sir. So we will look for them to support a variation of this type of legislation, because irrespective, sir, of who sits over there or here, the broad main parties know that the revenue gathering capacity of the state must be allowed to continue unhindered. Now, of course, things will improve at the end of next year, because that side over there will be much thinned out, and a host, sir, of people who I find actually not to be quite good company will be doing other things with their lives. They will not be politicians. And, sir, neither will they be ministers. We will have our friends sitting down that side of the House, sitting over there, enabling us to bring to pass a Kiwi Saver scheme, sir, which is a key contributor to superannuation, that actually provides an additional platform for New Zealanders to save, but in addition to that, sir, it builds a reservoir of capital. Now, if we can actually improve the prospect of foreign superannuation schemes contributing as well to the livelihood of people beyond the age of 65, nothing wrong with that. Now, sir, there have been a host of difficulties with foreign superannuation changes, and in some respects, if you are in the enviable position of having a handsome foreign-based superannuation scheme, it does seem a tad unfair that you be doubly penalised. So in that sense, sir, it does actually make a set of changes which the great hoi polloi probably don't know about. But this side of the House knows that superannuation and saving is going to be a key feature going forward, not only of the election campaign, but, sir, this time next year when we are running the country. Because a key problem that the bill does touch on, sir, is the absence of a domestic reservoir of savings. Now, why is that? Well, number one, sir, the current Minister of Finance, in a Dickensian-like way, sort of swiped aside any obligation to continue to contribute towards the Cullen Fund and only stood several months ago boasting how well it had done. And secondly, sir, he's really turned the thumbscrews on KiwiSavers. He has lessened the contribution that the state, in an incentivising way, makes. He has not put the pressure as it deserves to be on employers, but more importantly, sir, he has yet to strip it of its unnecessary red tape. Now, of course, I should make reference to the originator of this bill, Peter Dunn, someone who will also not be back here by the end of next year. Now, sir, yes, well, he will be done. Whether he was done before, that's not, I don't know that, sir. I don't know. And I don't want to intrude into those matters. All I know is that he's a leaker. And all I know, my Samoan tuakana here is advising me to stray into territory. Could be a bit treacherous for the Dalmatian Maori, for Kaitaia to actually venture an opinion on. But, sir, he has shepherded the legislation. Oh, sir, I have to acknowledge the member for Tāmaki. He actually reminded me yesterday that the word turgid and turd both apply to that particular parliamentarian. He had the dreadful manners to challenge this side of the House that we wouldn't know that what the word meant because we were not possessed of a fine education. So the people of Tāmaki don't want that kind of superciliousness. They want a very earthy member. They want someone, sir, who will stand and acknowledge talent and acknowledge skills across the House, sir. Now, I can actually suggest that some sitting to the member's side may resemble turnip, not turgid, but so that would bring an element of disorder to this debate. I want to come back, sir, to Mr. Dunn. Now, Mr. Dunn has served as a revenue minister and brought this bill forward, etc., and his days are over. Now, sir, just as he goes, Rodney Hyde wants to come back. So, and if things couldn't get any worse in the space of those people who might sit on that august body known as the Finance and Expenditure Committee, the prospect of Rodney Hyde coming back and joining that committee diminishes the status of Parliament even as I speak. So less said about that, the better. So the Inland Revenue presented, if I can just digress, but in the broad context of the bill, they give very good service to the Finance and Expenditure Committee. And indeed, the Commissioner, their leader, was at our committee yesterday. And we made the point that whilst a great deal of high-quality work does happen to do with obscure elements of policy, there is an area that they could serve the public better if only they were able to increase its visibility and give it more profile. And so that is the treatment of the tax affairs, tax restructuring of foreign-owned companies. Now, I was heartened, sir, to hear from the man in charge of policy saying that with some additional resourcing, they will be able to do that. Because if we're going, sir, to meet the full costs of Christchurch, meet the full costs, sir, of superannuation, we need at all times to broaden the base from where the state finds its revenue. And there is far too much opaqueness, there is far too much, sir, clever tax planning driven to leach the revenue base, not to enhance it. So I actually want to give a bouquet, sir, to the Commissioner and the Head of Policy who saw the immediate wisdom in what the Labour members were saying and identified, sir, that without a doubt, if they can find an egregious case, they would be tempted to follow that great tradition of British military pedigree, which the member from Tāmaki professes to know a thing or three about. One field execution can motivate 100,000 troops. So, sir, where there is an egregious case of a foreign entity not meeting its full tax obligations, sir, without a doubt, the IRD should restore a greater level of confidence to the community that everyone is paying their fair share. And of course, from time to time, businesses strike difficulties, and those difficulties, sir, can be managed through. But it's not acceptable as we further internationalise the ownership of our economy for those entities not to meet their fair share. Sir, we support the bill.
John Hayes,